Hello UOTians, this video is going to be very special because we are going to talk about MBA in rural management. I have Shivansh sir with me. He is communications manager at IRMA. I have Lori Tripathi and Mrityunjay from first year batch. They are going to add a lot of value.
Hello everyone, so I'm Shashank Rakesh. I've done my post graduation in commerce. I have a work experience of about 14 months into microfinance and as an entrepreneur.
Hi everyone, I'm Lori Tripathi. I'm from Delhi. I've done my graduation from Symbiosis School of Economics. I pursued economics honors there, and I'm a fresher. I straight away joined IRMA right after that.
Hello everyone, I am Mrityunjay. I am from Raipur, Chhattisgarh. I have completed my graduation in Bachelor's of Business Administration, and this was my second attempt to IRMA. So for the first attempt, I pursued a digital marketing course, and so I'm basically a fresher only, and thereafter I joined IRMA.
Okay, I think you have a diverse range of profiles, sir, in your institute. Starting with the first question straight away, why MBA in rural management or PGDM in rural management? Anyone can take it.
I think for me it works because MBA in rural management is just like any other MBA with an added advantage to understand how this particular learning can be applied in rural India. I mean, most people think of rural management as a limitation, but rather it's an added advantage. It's an added thing to understand that you learn everything what any other B school teaches you. It talks about management, but with an added advantage to understand and implement this in rural India and how these ideas can be developed and implemented there. I think that exactly what rural management broadly tries to cover.
I'd like to add to Lori's point. Yeah, I completely agree with her that it's definitely a value addition to the conventional MBA. I mean, right now it's almost 1.5 months that we are in IRMA, and almost there are same subjects. I have talked to a lot of friends who are in different B schools, so completely same subjects. It's just that we have got some value added subjects more. So it's definitely an added advantage to all of us. And more importantly, if we talk about rural management, हम rural से start करते हैं and we end in rural only. The ultimate consumers are in rural only. So that's an added advantage to us that from where we are starting, we are ending over there only. So that's the best learning part of this rural management.
Sir, you want to add something?
See, I think we're living in an era where the boundaries between urban areas, peri-urban areas, and rural areas, they're slowly merging into each other. And that calls for professional managers who can delve in all three areas with equal panache. And I think that is exactly where an institution like IRMA or the kind of program that the PGDM-RM is, the PGDM in rural management, it can step in because it caters to a lot of different things which are basically very broad in their scope, but they may not appear so for let's say an MBA aspirant who's just starting out. So that is why I think MBA in rural management or a PGDM in rural management finds its value.
So guys, here I want you to bust a myth. The myth is कि if I go for MBA or PGDM in rural management, मुझे village में काम करना होगा और in all the rural places. So मेरा पूरा career वहाँ पे कटने वाला है. I want you to burst this particular myth.
I think that's literally the biggest myth that IRMA as an institution needs to bust, or rural management in itself, because what happens, you have all kind of companies coming to colleges, specifically IRMA. They try to understand and they rather try to hire and recruit people who have a broader objective and proper broader way of understanding things. So it really never happens that a company recruits you and keeps you only limited to a rural area or a rural territory. Some people choose to be a part of it, but a lot of people, actually most of the opportunities do come up in urban areas, as you can mention, or any area that you like to work. It's not limited to any rural area, or that you will per se work in an NGO. Nothing like that. You're creating managers. You're working in professional organizations, which will broadly give you opportunities to work in any part of this country or probably abroad. So there's nothing restricted to a rural area.
Well, even I had this myth कि villages में काम करना पड़ेगा once we get into rural management. But the moment I talk to seniors, the people who who are placed, they told me that it's just a few bunch of people who willingly go to villages because they want to work with some NGOs or development sectors. But almost most of the people are placed in tier 2, tier 1 cities. And so it's the tier 3 city wala myth is basically for those who really want to work in the ground level. So it's just a complete myth, I would say. It doesn't have that kind of credibility.
I was just saying this is what the best thing is. It gives a wide variety. It also gives you an option to voluntarily work wherever you want to work, but also gives you an opportunity or a platform to be anywhere within the country. Or like I said, opportunities are given which help you go outside the country as well. So yeah.
Chetan, I'll just add to both of their points. I'll just give you a couple of names. So there's actually Dr. R.S. Sodhi, who is the MD of Gujarat Cooperative Milk Marketing Federation, whose brand is Amul. There's Mr. Sivakumar Surampudi, who is known for heralding the e-Chopal initiative of ITC. There's Mr. Andy Mukherjee, who is a business journalist with Bloomberg based out of Singapore. There's Mr. Matthew Cherian, who's the chief executive of HelpAge India. There's people like Mr. Alkesh Kumar Sharma, who's heralding the COVID recovery in Kerala. There's also Mr. Sanjeev Asthana, who is CEO of Ruchi Foods. Now I can give you names over names over names of alumni of IRMA and across batches who are working around the world in different sectors, in a variety of sectors, and they're not working in rural areas per se. So that is what I said. I said this when I opened my statement, and that was that the boundary between urban areas, peri-urban areas, and rural areas is slowly merging. And that is where an institution like IRMA comes into play, because it allows people, it allows students to get the kind of skills, get the required set of skills or acquire those required set of skills while building upon their existing skill set, so that they can work anywhere in the not just India, but around the world.
Sir, the next question is about the course curriculum. Normally, when we talk about graduation courses which are into rural, sector, they have field work as well as the regular curriculum. Where when it comes to field work, it can be about 6 months getting into a village, working over there, contributing, and so on. So when I talk about MBA in rural management, is the curriculum same or it is like a good mixture of academics as well as the field work?
Okay, thank you, Chetan. Fantastic question. So IRMA's curriculum is basically divided into a couple of segments. Why it is so unique is because of the segments themselves. So we have 6 classroom terms, 6 segments which are based out of the classrooms themselves. And we have 3 crucial outdoor segments. The first one is called the induction fieldwork segment, and it happens as soon as a student enters the institute. So after the first week of entering the institution, after their induction within the institute is completed, they're packed off village in Gujarat, where they actually experience the life of a village in particular for a whole week. So this basically acts like a welcome. This basically acts like more like a wake-up call for these people who are about to become rural managers in 2 years' time. So they actually get to live in these villages. They get to experience the lives of these villages. Now they don't need to go out at 4 o'clock to milk cows, but ultimately they get to experience how the village economy, how the social structure, caste system, so on and so forth, all of these basically systems in the village work. So they get to experience that firsthand. When they come back, their first classroom term begins. After the first classroom term, now we have changed it a bit. We've tweaked it this year because of the COVID-19 pandemic. So people like Mrityunjay and Lori will be going for their village fieldwork segment in the second term, after the second term. So the village fieldwork segment again is an 8-week segment, 8-week long segment. So basically 2 months, wherein students from IRMA go across India in villages. They live there, they conduct a lot of surveys, they try and make a report on how the particular village functions. So they are not just, let's say, audiences to the village life, but they're also participants in the village life, right? And when they come back, this data is used and shared with government agencies. So that government agencies, let's say 4 or 5 years down the line, are able to understand what kind of developmental activities were performed in these villages and how and what kind of impact they've had, right? Finally, we have the summer internship segment, which takes place in the month of June and July, which is like a corporate or a non-corporate exposure, but more like an industry exposure for the students of IRMA. So these 3 outdoor segments actually form the backbone of the curriculum. Now, what about the rest of the curriculum? The rest of the curriculum is composed of electives and basic foundational courses, which are common to any other MBA program. Like I think Mrityunjay pointed out, the kind of courses that they're studying right now, managerial analysis and communication, basic finances and accounting, so on and so forth. They are interspersed with some courses which are very unique to IRMA, like rural society and polity, rural research methods, and so on and so forth. So all in all, that gives a very unique flavor to the curriculum of an MBA within the context of rural management.
In addition to that, I would like to add, so there is one more segment called as PRA that we attended, the PRM 40 attended, and the previous batches have attended, so that they are ready to, so that they are ready for their village fieldwork segment. So that is like a preparatory course that we need to go to the villages and understand what are the activities we need to do. That helps in our understanding in linkage with our academic uh, learning vis-a-vis the ground learning. That helps a lot.
So Shashank, how does, if you could just expand more about PRA, what does PRA entail, and how basically is it connected to the courses that you learn in the first term?
So under PRA, we learn that is participatory rural appraisal. We try to understand uh, what are these problems, structures, cropping patterns, seasonalities, how to include participants of the rural areas into the study uh, so that we can understand things better. For example, you will have to make a daily schedule of how the activities of the villagers entail throughout the day, how it follows up. Apart from that, you understand what are the kind of things that they do in different seasons. So you prepare a seasonal map. So that is there. Then again, you have what are the kind of problems that they face in these varying seasons. It can be in terms of, let's say, diseases uh, or other migration. What are the kind of problems that they are having? So these kind of patterns you can understand through that. These are some of the things. Apart from that, you involve them into helping us understand how their villages function. So they will help us draw a map of their own village so that you can understand which political or, let's say, not exactly political, but the powerful group over there resides. Where is that area? What are the facilities and where are they located? So it is based on their understanding, not our understanding, so which helps us understand the power balance of the village.